All right, everybody, Jillian Michaels has responded, spoken out for the first time since she walked off like a child and rage quit on her take. Now, for those of you who don't know, which would be most of you, her take is kind of like a knockoff View. It's supposed to be people's takes from across the political aisle, although there is no like left progressive on here, which is a good representation of American media because Ana Kasparian is the furthest left they will allow you to go, which I'm not saying to be disparaging. She doesn't even consider herself a progressive or a leftist. And this last woman, I think, is just a Nepo baby, which is also classically American. Always gotta have a Nepo baby. You have Lindy Lee, who is a right-wing grifter who used to be a bundler for the Democratic Party and then realized you make a lot more money on the right, so she switched. Jillian Michaels, of course, who herself is also a right-wing grifter. Now, if you're a millennial like me, you may remember Jillian Michaels from such career paths as humiliating fat people on The Biggest Loser and hawking scam diet pills. You might also be wondering then, well, if she's a fitness trainer, why is she a right-wing political commentator now? And we can go back to Lindy Lee for that answer. It's because that's where the money is. About 2 years ago, she was making the rounds again, doing her typical fat shaming and her very outdated diet advice about how GLP-1s were bad. You just need to diet and exercise harder. Anyway, people found GLP-1s and she tried to fearmonger about that, but it didn't work. And so she needed some other way to make a lot of money, and you go into right-wing politics. What a lot of people didn't know about her is that she is a Zionist, though. And so any criticism of the Israeli regime is not okay. And even though this is a podcast about politics and your take on it, and the Israeli regime is a massive part of the political discussion, she was so outraged that Ana criticized her precious Israel that she stormed off.
Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes, there was a lot of pressure towards
ends off being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I'm not interested in this.
Okay, I know. I know.
Sorry.
Let's be good. Let's be good about precious Israel. Let's be committed to genocide. Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys agree. I fundamentally disagree with you about every show doing this. I'm sorry.
Cool. So can we continue the conversation?
Yeah, let's.
Note that Ana was specifically talking about Netanyahu there, but apparently you're not allowed to criticize right-wing leaders. She was asked about her tantrum on a podcast, and this is just a piece of what she said.
Another show that just bashes Israel. Yeah. And different. I also think a healthy criticism of October 7th and,
the stuff that Charlie was talking
all
about,
of the
right?
things that, right, is, but where is the balance?
What do you mean, where's the balance? Is this the fucking Acrobat show? The clip right before that, she's like, I take a healthy criticism of Netanyahu. Do you, though? Do you? Because you didn't seem like it in that clip. I like how she's trying to both sides it, too. But also October 7th, we're not talking about that. The reality of the situation is that the genocide that's happening in Gaza is not balanced. So when Zionists or other people in the Western press demand that there be balance, they're demanding that you lie. Because the entire situation is asymmetrical. Demanding that there be balance in a conversation where the oppressor and the people doing the genocide are being criticized is absurd. That's what she's demanding from that panel, from Ana Kasparian, that she have balance when talking about this oppressive regime committing a genocide against a helpless civilian population that has no army and no ability to escape. I think in the 1930s, they called that political correctness. She's literally demanding that they be politically neutral and correct rather than truthful and honest. You pick the wrong industry to grift off of if you can't handle political discussion and debate. I don't think you're cut out for this, Jillian. You might need to go back to your roots of like fear-mongering about seed oils or whatever.